Welcome to another edition of Parks Are for People, brought to you by the LA County Department of Parks and Recreation. I'm Steve Foulger, your host, and we've got a show full of variety for you today. We'll take you to the ARCO Jesse Owens Track and Field Meet, then we'll set sail for the Castaic Regatta, and after that we'll preview the upcoming 16th of September Festival at Belvedere Park. Then it's off to Whittier Narrows for a scaled-down look at model boating. We'll head up to Eaton Canyon for some natural history, but first, let's go to Mirada Park for a lesson in Frisbee golf. Everyone in Southern California loves a good game of Frisbee. It's a chance to take in the great outdoors, catch some sun, and enjoy the company of friends in a relaxed setting. Playing Frisbee is a relaxing pastime. I mean, after all, who can take it seriously? These people can, they have to. They're competitors in the World Open Flying Disc Championships here at La Mirada Park. Held for 1 week during the summer, this is the Olympiad of the Flying Disc world. During this time, players will challenge themselves, each other, and the terrain as they compete for over $40,000 worth of prize money. The event features no less than 8 types of flying disc competitions, including the crowd-pleasing canine disc. As you can see, canine disc relies heavily on teamwork. Several of these games are actually well-known sports played with the flying disc. For example, this is flying disc football. Like regular football, this event, called Ultimate, includes quarterbacks, runners, and of course the touchdown. Another popular event is disc golf. Played like golf, the game uses the flying disc like a golf ball, and the rules are the same right down to the tee. The Los Angeles County Department of Parks and Recreation has been a pioneer of this relatively new sport. When the county opened the first flying disc golf course in 1976, it was the first of its type in the world. Since that time, the county has created several more courses, including the one here at La Mirada Park, now home of the Flying Disc Championships. Like a regular golf course, the flying disc course includes the tee-off, the hole, and occasional hazards. Each tee-off area offers information about the hole, which of course is not really a hole at all. The holes on this course are actually 25-inch poles with a chain and basket, and when the disc hits the pole, the top portion of the basket catches the disc. While this may sound easy, the game is more difficult than you might think. Those who play disc golf for the first time discover that they must consider wind, distance, and hazards, such as a tree, before each throw. There are different sized discs for different types of shots, and there are many ways to hold the disc. Half of the player's skill is his strategy of knowing what to use and when. Is it better to use 2 small tosses or try for 1 long throw? To be good at this game, it takes a special kind of competitor. This is Sam Ferens, a resident of Los Angeles County and the 2-time world champion in the sport of disc golf. Sam took some time out of his busy schedule to give us a lesson. Sam, I want to thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you coming out.
It's great to be here.
I don't know anything about this game, so why don't you give me kind of a quick, brief lesson, and we'll play around.
Sure.
Okay.
In disc golf, we have different discs, and different discs have different flight characteristics.
Okay.
For this particular hole, we're going to use the AVR XD, which is 172 grams, and specially weighted. Its flight characteristic is it fades to the left.
Okay.
So the first thing we want to do is grip the disc properly. This is done by sticking it into the wedge of your hand and gripping it real tight.
Got it.
Okay, you want to extend your arm as far back as possible and keep it flat. Okay. And whip it.
That's not bad, huh?
Great shot.
First time out. Let's go play one.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, how about this? Not bad for a first time out, huh?
Terrific shot.
Good coaching.
All right.
What's the skinny on sinking this baby? Why don't you show me how that works?
Well, let's get into the putting stance here.
Okay.
First of all, you're going to rely on your legs. You're going to extend them.
Okay.
You get the push. It's a push putt.
Got it.
That's what we're going to do.
All right.
Now, you don't throw it, you push it.
All right.
Extend it from your chest outward towards the basket.
All right, let me
Flat.
give it a try.
All right. Go for it. There you go.
Alrighty, okay. Hey, listen, I really want to thank you, Sam. We really appreciate it. We understand you're going to be at the World Championships.
I'll be there.
Well, we'll be there too.
Okay.
Good luck to you. With that in mind, it's back to the action at the Open Flying Disc Championships. The competition heats up as players battle it out for title of Flying Disc Golf Champion of the World. The high point of the tournament is reached on the last day of competition. With the field narrowed down to only 4 people, this final round will determine the champion. The tournament draws to a close as another summer of World Flying Disc competition is over. For the competitors, it's now time to pack up their discs and relax. At least until next year.
So if you're looking for that new sport, come and check out one of the many disc golf courses the county has to offer. You just might find the answer is blowing in the wind. This park in Los Angeles used to be called Southwest Sportsman's Park. In 1980, the County of Los Angeles renamed the park, dedicating it to the memory of a great athlete. Today, it's known as Jesse Owens County Park.
Jesse Owens is recognized as being the outstanding track and field athlete of the first half of this century. His greatest accomplishment was in winning 4 gold medals at the 1936 Berlin Olympic Games. Owens was often quoted as saying that our country's young people were our greatest natural resource, and that developing this resource through athletic competition should be of major importance to us.
Throughout his life, Jesse Owens worked hard to achieve this dream, and he succeeded. He worked hand in hand with the Atlantic Richfield Company, bringing to millions of young people the opportunity to participate in athletic competition.
The result of his work is the ARCO Jesse Owens Games. These games provide a means of developing the resource that Jesse Owens spoke of. He established the games with ARCO in 1965.
The games provide an arena for boys and girls ages 7 to 14 to participate and compete in the sport of track and field.
The program begins each year in May with neighborhood competitions in 14 cities across the nation. The winners of these first meets earn the right to compete in their regional championships. The winners then advance to the national championships, and the final meet is held in Los Angeles during August.
We're here at UCLA, site of the ARCO Jesse Owens National Championships, sponsored by the County Department of Parks and Recreation.
As a recreational track and field meet, the games provide novice-level boys and girls the chance to participate in basic running, jumping, and throwing events. The youngsters compete in one of 3 age categories: 10 to 11, 12 to 13, and 14 to 15 years old. The events include the 50-meter dash, the 200 and 400-meter runs, the long jump, the high jump, and the softball throw.
There's a special camaraderie that develops between these young athletes, and an atmosphere of friendship and mutual respect. The ARCO Jesse Owens Games continue to provide an excellent opportunity for young athletes to learn the art of sportsmanship.
The games also pay tribute to the parents, coaches, and volunteers who provide their time and leadership for the kids.
All right. How long have you been training?
I started like about the end of last summer.
Just that long?
Yep.
That's fantastic. All right. Do you know anything about Jesse Owens?
I just know he won 4 gold medals in the Olympics.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. But more importantly, the games have given these kids a rich experience, a victory in the best sense of the word.
Many of these youngsters were too young to know of Jesse Owens' accomplishments, or why they were competing in a track meet bearing his name. But after participating in the ARCO Jesse Owens Games, they have a better understanding of sportsmanship and of the man who made this event possible. Jesse Owens passed away in 1980, but because of his lifetime efforts and achievements, his name will live on.
Charles Bronson isn't happy.
Sure takes guts to vandalize parks or beat up on trees. But that's what some jerks are doing to our public lands. Only the land can't fight back. But we can. We can save our lands, you and me. Let's face it, someone who gets his kicks punching out flowers shouldn't be too much of a match for us.
Write Take Pride in America. Post Office Box 1339, Jessup, Maryland 20794.
There are a few things you need if you're going to participate in the sport of sailing. You need a sailboat, a large body of water, and some wind. Well, the LA County Department of Parks and Recreation can't give you a sailboat, but it can give you the rest. And you can find it right here at Castaic Lake.
A favorite choice of many sailing enthusiasts, Castaic Lake is not only beautiful, but it's easy to get to. The lake is located an hour's drive north of Los Angeles, just off Interstate 5. Operated by the Los Angeles County Department of Parks and Recreation, Castaic features some of the most modern launch facilities around. With well over 2,000 acres of open water, the lake offers more elbow room than can be found at most lakes in Southern California. High winds are common at Castaic Lake, so there's almost always a good breeze, providing the sailor with an exciting day of recreation.
With all this going for it, it's little wonder that Castaic has been chosen the site of many sailing competitions.
We're at Castaic Lake for a particular type of sailboat competition. What makes this event different is the kind of sailboat used in the contest. The Castaic Lake Regatta is a race using the Prindle catamaran. Organized by the Prindle Catamaran Fleet of Southern California, the race is entirely amateur. During the two-day event, owners of these catamarans crowd the lake for some serious sailing competition. But what, may you ask, is a catamaran?
This is a catamaran. These top-of-the-line twin-hulled boats are fast and fun, and combined with the shifting winds here at Castaic Lake make for some truly unforgettable sailing.
Catamarans are specifically designed to use the wind for maximum speed. The sailors do this by lifting one of the two hulls out of the water. By doing so, the amount of drag on the boat is reduced by half. This allows the boat to travel 2 times faster than with 2 hulls in the water. The design is so efficient that a catamaran can actually sail faster than the speed of the wind. With this in mind, we couldn't resist giving it a try.
Okay, I'm here with Greg Kaufman. Greg's going to give me an introductory lesson. How you doing, Greg?
Great.
All right. Tell me about this baby.
Okay, it's a Prindle 19 catamaran. It's 19 feet long, 8.5 feet wide. It's a pretty high-tech racing boat.
How do you steer it?
Okay, you steer it here with this tiller, and it also telescopes for your body to be moved around the boat. You actually, when it's windy, get out here on a trapeze hook with the harnesses attached to your waist and actually get your body off the boat to get some gravity out there.
How fast can you get a boat like this going?
Okay, it'll go about 25 or 26 knots with good wind on a reach, which is your fastest point of sail.
Well, let's do it, man. Give me a lesson. Let's get out there. Okay.
With the lesson over, it's time for the competitors to ready themselves for the start of the race. The contestants must place their boats just behind the starting line. If they cross this line before the white flag is dropped, they must turn completely around and cross the line again.
Each class of competitor must race around these buoys which form a triangle on the lake. By following this path, the sailors demonstrate all the necessary skills to steer a catamaran.
The start flag is dropped and the race is underway. The catamarans crowd each other in the hope of gaining the advantage. On the first side of the triangle, the catamarans must travel upwind. This is extremely difficult for sailboats since it's impossible to travel directly against the wind. The catamarans must zigzag or tack left and right, constantly changing their direction in order to reach the next point of the triangle. Once around the first transition area, the boats now travel with the wind at their side. Called the reach across, this is the most efficient way to travel. On this leg, the catamarans reach their maximum speed. This is also a difficult and dangerous time for the racers. With the heavy gusts pulling the sails sideways, the crew must literally hang their bodies over the edge to keep the catamaran from tipping over. The next and last leg is the downhill stretch. With the wind directly behind them, the catamarans cannot travel as fast as before. Now the race becomes a trial of strategy. The competitors must outwit their opponents by using all their skill and maneuvering their craft towards the finish line. By the afternoon of the last day, the races are over and the points are tallied. For the winners, there are handmade trophies and the knowledge that they have qualified for the national championships. This year's Belvedere Park 16th of September Festival is coming up on the weekend of September 12th and 13th. The festival is better known as Mexican Independence Day. This annual event is the biggest celebration of its kind outside of Mexico. Let's look back at last year's event. The weekend is to remind us of the rich culture and heritage of the Mexican people, the arts, crafts, folklore, and music of the people who sought freedom from Spain and who first settled California. The purpose of the celebration is to commemorate Mexico's independence in 1810. The festival is also called Dia de la Familia, or Family Day, because the weekend is filled with events for the whole family. In addition to cultural entertainment, local groups provide ethnic food. Stay tuned. There's more to come on Parks Are for People.
Bad days. Everybody has them.
Hello? No, not even with both of us working. The baby is crying. I gotta go.
Even the littlest thing can set you off. Stop. Take time out. Count to 10. Get hold of yourself before you take hold of your child. Write Prevent Child Abuse, Box 2866, Chicago.
When you think of drag boat racing, naturally you think of big engines. You think of flashy paint jobs, fireproof racing suits, and crash helmets.
Well, you might consider an alternative. We're here on the shores of Leg Lake at Whittier Narrows for a model boating demonstration sponsored by NAMBA, or the North American Model Boaters Association.
Like remote-controlled airplanes, model boating has been around since the early 40s. Not surprisingly, this unique pastime began right here in Southern California. K&B Manufacturing has been around even longer. Today it's still the only company in the world to manufacture outboard motors for model boats.
And when it comes to racing, these miniature replicas of some of the world's fastest boats have nothing to be ashamed of. Scaled down to roughly 1/10 the size of actual drag boats, these mini high-performance machines are capable of speeds in excess of 60 miles per hour.
At full size, that equates to over 600 miles per hour. And remember, to one of these little speedsters, a 6-inch wind wave is actually a 6-foot breaker. There are 3 different engine sizes which determine the class that the boats run in. The engines range from 3.5 to 11 cubic centimeters and generate up to 4 horsepower at 22,000 RPMs.
But there's more to winning at model boat racing than just the mechanics. With me is Don Donikowski, one of the winningest model boat racers in Southern California. Don, thanks for being with us. Tell me, what does it take to win at this sport?
Well, Steve, it takes a combination of 4 things. Luck, 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 and probably my really terrific fuel.
No kidding, you make your own fuel?
I have it made for me, my formula, nitromethane, methanol, oil, and something from alligators. It's made down in Alabama.
Well, there's got to be more to it than that.
Well, there really is. I'd say eye-hand coordination's probably number 1. Good equipment, name brands, good motors, hulls and such, good propellers. Those all play a large part.
race takes place in an oval about 9/10 of a mile in length and consists of 6 laps. An event of this type is over in about 90 seconds. This leaves a racer very little margin for error. One false move and...
Model boating enthusiasts are out here on the lake every Saturday. So if you're looking for an exciting but exacting sport, come on out to Whittier Narrows and give it a try. Gee, Don, sorry about your boat.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Stay with us. Parks are for people. We'll be right back.
A college man. I got me a college man.
But, Mom, we can't afford college.
Nonsense. You worked hard to get accepted. So I'll get you on that bus somehow.
The United Negro College Fund has helped thousands of students. But the fact is, the job's not done. There are thousands we can't reach, not without the funds. So support the United Negro College Fund.
There's very little in the way of undeveloped land in Los Angeles County, and what's left is going fast. That's why it's such a relief to find the rustic and unspoiled splendor of Eaton Canyon. Nestled between the suburbia that is Altadena and the San Gabriel Mountains, Eaton Canyon is an island of nature in a sea of civilization. There are great oaks and wildflowers, a flowing stream, and an assortment of critters in this unusual park. It's the role of the county to look after this area, educate park visitors, and preserve the plants and animals of the canyon for the enjoyment of today's visitors and future generations as well. The history of this canyon is as rich as its wildlife. One of the earliest white men to gaze upon Eaton Canyon was the famous naturalist John Muir. Muir visited the canyon in 1877 and commented on the steep cliffs and lush vegetation, calling it some of the most rugged territory he'd ever seen. The canyon received its namesake from Judge Benjamin S. Eaton. A Harvard graduate, Judge Eaton came to California with the gold rush in 1850. He didn't find any gold, but he was instrumental in the development of an aqueduct from the canyon. The canyon was the property of the Fox family until 1956, when it was sold by Beatrice Fox to the County of Los Angeles. But Beatrice had one condition before she sold her land. She requested that the natural beauty of the park be preserved in its original state. The County of Los Angeles kept its word and created the Eaton Canyon Natural Area. Now Eaton Canyon is a wildlife sanctuary where birds, ground squirrels, and cottontail rabbits run free. Over 2,000 types of animals and 100 kinds of plants live in the canyon. But Eaton Canyon is much more than a wilderness park. It's also a place to learn more about the inhabitants of this beautiful area, like my friend here, Van Gogh. And the best place to do that is at the Eaton Canyon Nature Center. Each year, the Nature Center provides 50,000 visitors with living insight into the workings of the area's ecosystem. The facility includes classrooms, a museum and library, and a laboratory. There are numerous displays of living and mounted animals. One can see poisonous and non-poisonous snakes, fish, birds, squirrels, and spiders. For those who would rather see everything firsthand, guided tours are offered on weekends in the late morning and early afternoon. The Pasadena Audubon Society conducts early birdwatching tours the third Sunday morning of every month. Two of the more popular events at the park are the Moonlight and Twilight hikes. These hikes take place during the first night of the full moon or the early evening. This gives the visitor a chance to see some of the park dwellers that only come out after dark. If you care to tour the area without a crowd, there are several trails that you can follow. The Oak Terrace Trail takes about 30 minutes to complete. There are 12 stops along the trail, which are detailed in a guide provided by the Nature Center.
Each point of interest gives the hiker a little more insight into the history of the canyon and helps to identify the plants along the way. As wild as the park is, conditions are not too primitive for the average picnicker. The park is located along the Eaton Canyon streambed above Altadena. Easy to get to, Eaton Canyon is only 20 minutes from downtown LA.
The canyon is a 184-acre natural area full of an amazing variety of wild animals and plants native to the San Gabriel Canyon. Well, that wraps up today's show, but we'd like to tell you about a few upcoming events for the month of September. On September 11th through the 13th, the International Hot Boat Association will hold a drag boat race at Benelli Park, and Castaic will host a triathlon on September 19th. If you have any questions about today's show, give us a call downtown at area code 213-738-3034. Summer's coming to a close, so make the most of it. Come on out and enjoy your county parks. I'm Steve Foulger. Join us again next time for more great video adventures on Parks Are for People.